I see that it is 4:30, so we will go ahead and get started. Let me read a couple of statements. It says, due to the COVID-19 emergency, the Planning Commission will conduct its essential business by electronic means rather than being required to gather in a quorum of members physically present in the same location because it's necessary to protect the health and safety of the welfare of Tennesseans. This meeting is in compliance with the Governor's Executive Order number 60 and will remain in effect until 11:59 on October 28, 2020. I'm going to call this to order, and then it says, it has been determined this meeting is necessary to protect the public health and safety and welfare in light of the coronavirus. We are recording this meeting and making it available to public online. All right, I'm going to determine a quorum. As I say each commissioner's name, if you would say here. Larry Crabtree. All right, I see Larry. Can you unmute yourself, Larry? You see Larry is here. Mr. Comer?
Here.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Mr. Schwer?
Here.
Mayor Noes?
Here.
Ms. Blackwell?
Here.
And I don't think Shelly is. Shelly's, I see her trying to connect in. Yeah, I see her connecting in right now. Let's see here. We'll give her 1 second. We'll delay. There she is. Ms. Smith, are you present? She's on mute.
Present.
All right. Thank you. All right. I determined that we do have a quorum. All members are here. If we will do the Pledge of Allegiance, I will start us off and we will get to do this. All right. If everybody would stand.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag,
Of the United States of America, to the republic
for which
for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice
for all. Thank you, everybody. All right. So we have done the pledge. If y'all would review the minutes first for our August 17th meeting, and once y'all have read those, I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. That was Alderman Blackwell with the first and Ms. Smith with the second. We have to do a roll call vote, so I will ask everybody. So I will start with Ms. Smith.
Remind me one more time. Yes.
Yes, you just say yes, approved.
Okay. Approved. Thanks.
All right. Ms. Blackwell?
Yes.
All right. I have to look at everybody. Okay. Mr. Comer?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Schwer?
Yes.
Mr. Crabtree?
Yes.
And Mayor Noes?
Yes.
And yes for me as well. So that unanimous. All right. If somebody wants now, we have the special call business meeting of August 31st. If y'all will review those minutes. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All right. That was Mr. Crabtree with the motion and a second from Ms. Blackwell. All right. I will do another roll call. All right. Mrs. Smith.
Yes.
All right. Ms. Blackwell.
Yes.
All right. Mr. Crabtree. Mr. Schwer.
Sorry, I did say yes.
Okay, that's fine. Paul?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Comer?
Yes.
And Mayor Ellis?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. All right. So that passes unanimously as well. All right. Reports from officers or staff. Do we have anything, Ms. Moody?
No.
All right. With that, we will move forward to our no old business. So we have new business. First one is a subdivision plat public hearing. This will be the Warren Minor Subdivision Final Plat. Ms. Moody, can you fill us in?
Yes, this is in the northeast quadrant of the city near East Lincoln and Hummingbird Drive. The entire property is about 21 acres in size, and they're creating two lots. One's 3.5 acres, the other is just 0.4 acres, and currently is a landlocked tract. The 3.53 acre lot had been sold by deed to a family member sometime back, creating this kind of landlocked parcel. And there's an existing home there built in 1941. They're looking to now sell that and want to record a plat that cleans up both of these lots at this time.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Moody. This is actually a public hearing, so I will open the public hearing up for the public. There, you have 2 minutes. If you want to donate your time, I will ask here in a minute if anybody wants to donate their time, and those 2 minutes can be donated to an individual. Please state your name and your address before you make your statement. So I'm opening the public hearing. Is there anybody that wants to donate their time? With that, I don't see anybody. So, all right, now I'm opening the public hearing. Would there be anybody that would like to speak about the Warner Minor Subdivision plat?
May I ask Jennifer, doesn't the department have several recommendations concerning this before we consider approving it?
We do. There are some revisions that are needed on the plat before we take it for signature. And so my request is that the Planning Commission would make your approval subject to these staff comments being addressed.
Thank you, Jennifer. So once again, this is anybody like to speak on the Warren public hearing? All right. If not, I'm closing the public hearing. And I'd entertain a motion from.
Move to. Oh wait.
Can I say something?
Are you Mr. Warren? I see. How about we get a motion on the floor and then we'll allow you to make a statement, if that'll be okay. Right.
I would move to approve the subdivision subject to the corrections that are recommended by the planning department as written in the application here.
All right, I have a motion.
I can make a second.
All right. So the motion was Mr. Crabtree and Alderman Blackwell was with the second. All right, we have a discussion open. If Mr. Warren, would you like to make a statement?
No, I just wanted to say there are easements to go into that property.
Okay. There are easements that go into the property. All right. Jennifer, could you maybe go over a little bit of what is lacking on the plat?
Sure. I'll go through on the staff comments. The city engineer would like to see the dedication of right-of-way out to a point 30 feet from the center line of the highway. I believe on the plat that we have, it said right-of-way varies. So we're looking for that specific dedication of right-of-way.
If y'all could leave y'all's phone on or everything on mute unless you're speaking, we're getting some really bad reverberation here. Sorry about that, Miss Moody.
Yeah. There's also a 4-inch gas main running along the west side of Hummingbird Drive that needs to be shown on the plat. Water and sewer lines need to be shown on the plat. And then there's a standard note regarding the overhead power lines that needs to be added.
Okay. Thank you. Any discussion amongst the board?
I just want to say that I just looking at density, that what they have planned for this, it's perfectly acceptable, and I think that this is I don't see any argument with this whatsoever. This density for this transect is fine. So move to approve.
All right. So, okay. Any other questions? If not, I'll call the
I
question.
have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Yes, sir.
In the comments, it makes a statement that this property is less square footage than the requirement for R1. Jennifer, could you comment on that?
Yes, this has been a little bit of an unusual and confusing one. I can't say that I can understand the entire history of how it happened, but at some time in the past, a property of less than 5 acres was allowed to be sold by deed without a recorded plat. So when that 3.53 acre parcel was sold off by deed, it created this remaining acreage with an existing home that is smaller than our current 12,000 square foot lot minimum. I do
Guys, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Jennifer. I can't hear anything. All I hear is echoes. Is this
It's
happening
coming
for
from the 931 and it ends in 192. That's where we're getting the reverb from.
Okay. Okay, is that better, everyone?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay, so what I was saying is there's a little bit of confusing history on this one. I know that current state law says that when a property is less than 5 acres, for it to be sold by deed, it should have a recorded plat. But at some time in the past, they were allowed to record by deed a sale of this 3.5 acre tract that now is identified on the plat as Lot 1. When they created that, it left this 0.4 acre parcel landlocked. And so it was adjoined with the larger parent tract for all these years by the same owner, but now they're wanting to sell it off separately. It's got an existing property on it. That's what I was saying. A home, I think it was built in 1941. It does not meet our minimum lot size of 12,000 square feet or 20,000 square feet for a property without public sewer. Sewer service is available for a future connection. It's currently on septic. And while it's over the lot size for public sewer, it is under the minimum for what we require for a lot without public sewer.
But according to MTAS, Jennifer, wouldn't that be grandfathered in? That's not the current owners would they be held accountable for that? Because should it not be grandfathered in that those standards have changed? I'm trying to figure out
right
how long they have owned the property, and so that's
I think they've owned the property for a very long time.
Exactly.
And because my understanding from talking with the tax assessor's office and the register of deeds is that because it was sold to a family member, they did allow for property to just be deeded off without a recorded.
It
And
was
there
like a
was
quick claim.
survey.
Right, it was like a quick claim, and yes. And so perhaps the regulations don't apply because it's grandfathered in and it was a inter-family transaction. I'm not sure if that's the right terminology, but is anyone opposed to this at all amongst members? Does anybody is there any opposition?
I'm not opposed, but they said they were getting ready to sell the property, and I'm just wondering if that would become a problem in the event that they sold the property.
Well, if they did sell a property once the property transaction takes place, then that would trigger, they would be then held liable to the current regulations. But as it stands, I think what I'm getting from Jennifer is that it's kind of grandfathered in because it's a family affair. If they decided to sell, it would come before us and they would be held to the new regulations. But I think that it's grandfathered in at this point.
Mr. Worsham, could you comment on that?
Hello.
Steve, I see your tie and you're looking very dapper as always.
But can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I can hear and see you. Yes.
You hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
we
sir.
can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yes, it's grandfathered in. Once that deed went down some time ago, the regulations might have changed. There's probably many properties around town where this has happened. So I don't think that's going to be a problem now or even when they sell it later. Did you hear me, Poe?
Yes,
I heard
sir.
just you.
I can't figure it out.
Yes, sir, we did.
I heard you, Steve.
Yeah, we heard you.
All right.
Can I ask, I'm assuming
Grandfathered
that,
in. How does that? Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. We heard
All right.
grandfathered in.
All right, they're grandfathered in. I'm talking on my phone now. I think my iPad's doing funny things, and I'm not. I am electronically impaired, as you all know.
but may I ask though, here's my wondering about it. First of all, I'm assuming that all of the property around it is owned by somebody else. So there's no way for the actual owners to bring the property up to proper size the way it is. And the real problem for me is not so much, I mean, if we allow them to do it now, that's one thing. But if it sells 3 or 4 or 5 times, by the time we get down the road somewhere, we're going to be in with a piece of property that's not conforming, and somewhere along the line somebody's going to raise an issue about it, and this board will be held responsible for that because we made the decision.
I think we cross that bridge when we get there, though. Right? Maybe? I don't know.
That's anything that the board needs to be worried about at this point.
Due to it being grandfathered in, is that correct, Mr. Worsham?
My opinion. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other questions or comments throughout the board? If not,
Yeah, if it's on septic and there's fill lines, they're not shown. Are the fill lines entirely on that subdivided 0.4 acre, or they need an easement for the fill lines to be on the larger lot?
Thank you for bringing that up. They do need to show an easement for the field lines that are on the other lot.
Okay,
I'm just gonna, one more thing. This is a minor subdivision proposal, so minor. Just, we have in place right now protocol, so just as long as they follow the protocol, then are we supposed to be talking about this right now?
I think honestly, this one does have some reason for discussion because there are some things that are missing from the plat.
Right. So why
Yeah,
why am I sitting here?
So that's the thing, is we need to make sure that, we can, it's subject to the plat getting these things that are missing on it. So once they get so we can vote on that, and once we know that, yeah, you're right.
Yep.
If they meet the standard, we go.
Yes. Great. So are we kicking it?
I think we're about to call a question, unless anybody else has any other comments. If not, I will do a roll call vote. Ms. Smith.
Chad, can you please read what we're voting on exactly? Because I know what I said, and I want to make sure that what I said is what we're saying now.
Okay. We are voting on approval of a minor subdivision plat for the Warren at 110 and 112 Hummingbird Drive. But there is also attached to it, we need
Final plat subject to all staff comments being addressed prior to final signatures and recording.
Thank you so much, Shelley. Those are the four that you've seen on there. So, all right, Ms. Smith.
I recommend that we approve subject to the final plat and all staff comments being addressed prior to final signatures and recording.
All right. Alderman Blackwell.
Yes.
All right. Mr. Comer.
Yes.
All right. Mr. Schwer.
Yes.
Mr. Crabtree.
Yes.
Mayor Noes.
Yes.
And I will vote yes as well. All right. Motion passes. All right. Now we have, for another public hearing, the Roland, Old Chevyville Highway 131. It's a plat to create 9 residential lots off of Old Chevyville Highway on a 30-acre tract. Ms. Blackwell, do you have anything that you'd like to? I'm sorry. Sorry. Jennifer, would you like to say anything on this one?
Yes, I'll just share. I believe the community knows this area as the Reese property. Mr. Rowland has purchased it for development. He's looking at a 9-lot major subdivision. The 9 lots would be cut along the road frontage of Highway 130. It would require driveway permits from TDOT for each of those lots. And each lot is generally about a half-acre lot. I think he's proposing 2,000 square foot homes. There are a couple of lots with 2 lots with existing residential properties on them. This is immediately next to the Shandell Air Park subdivision. And I know there's been some conversation between this developer and their homeowners association. And they're also listening on the call and may want to speak under the public comments. This is another plat. It's a preliminary plat that I'm asking for your approval, subject to all of staff comments being addressed. This was an item that typically we will take items that are submitted the last Wednesday of the month and carry them on to the Planning Commission. When they're submitted on that last Wednesday, it doesn't give us a lot of time to get comments and revisions made before the Planning Commission. But I'm certainly confident that if you approve subject to staff comments, we will wait to sign the plat until all the comments have been addressed.
Ms. Moody, can you hear me? Ms. Moody, can you hear me?
Yes.
For the record, I want it to reflect that I do represent the current owners of that property, Mr. and Ms. Reese. Of course, they have no interest in this particular matter before the Planning Commission, but they do propose to sell that property to Mr. Rowland if this is approved.
I would like to speak on behalf of Huddleston Steel and say that we will address all staff comments and come into coordinates with any of the staff comments and concerns.
All right. With that, I'm going to open this up to public comment, or excuse me, public hearing for public comment. If we have anybody that is going to donate their time, please let us know here in a minute. I will ask that question. You have 2 minutes. State your name and your address. So I'm opening it up. Do I have anybody that would like to donate their time? All right. It does not seem like we do. Is there anyone who would like to speak on this? All right.
Okay, so, sir?
I'm sorry. Okay, yes. If you'll state your name and address.
I'm sorry, I was trying to find my mute button.
You're fine.
Tim Sager, 1067 Old Shelbyville Highway. I'm the president of the HOA of Shondell Airport. I have with me Klaus Markgriff, and he's the vice president. We have talked informally, we have talked to Mr. Rowland and voiced our concerns, told him that we are unable to, at this time, recommend or we can't even take anything to our HOA because he hasn't shown anything on the property that we're concerned about. He's only talking right now about building an additional, I think, 6 or 7 homes on Old Shelbyville Highway, and he's not crossing the creek into that field adjacent to our property. Once he does, we welcome any plat, anything that he wants to show us about how he wants to do that. But until then, we really don't have a lot to say about it. He did tell me that if we chose not to allow him access from from the West Crosswind Court in our neighborhood, that he would build small homes in there. That we're concerned about because he said he would put a bunch of them in there just to get his money back. And I completely understand why he would do that. But we then have a problem with propellers swinging around out there on our taxiways just adjacent to the east of his property. So we do have some concerns about that.
Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? All right. With that, I will close the public hearing and I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve with the staff recommendations being put in, not staff recommendations, but the staff adjustments. What's the word I'm supposed to be using? Being added in.
Recommendation was right.
Recommendation.
Okay. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. Thank you. First was Alderman Blackwell. Second was Mr. Schwer. All right. Open for discussion.
One of the only things I wanted to bring up is that when I was in that neighborhood knocking doors a year ago in the Shondell Airport, or that neighborhood, there was a lot of concerns that they had regarding flooding and water issues, if I'm correct. I'm sure that Joey could probably speak more to that. But I just wanted to make sure that whatever is built there doesn't cause more issues that they're already having. I'm trying to look at what they said in terms of stormwater, et cetera. But I know that there's an area that from that creek that does flood back there. Maybe the HOA can speak more to that.
Well, you're correct. There's a creek that cuts across this property, and all of these lots drain back to that creek.
I guess I'll jump in again. it's not my job or my position, and I have no authority to, speak to whether or not this is a good idea or not. But I will just say that, again, I sound like a broken record, but our comprehensive plan is outdated, and this is in an area that personally I just think doesn't need this type of development, but that doesn't have anything to do with this. Like, I only can vote yes or no on this particular issue, but I guess I'm just going on the record once again saying that we really should revisit the comprehensive plan, because we have a really tremendous asset in our airport and the area surrounding it that could set us apart from neighboring municipalities. And I guess when they're saying that, but as far as flooding and stormwater, we don't really have a choice right now unless it's in a flood hazard zone, which it's not, right?
It is not.
It is not.
Okay, correct.
I would like to speak and say that the engineering comments are saying that providing a construction plan for the sidewalks, detention, sewer, and other public improvements prior to the final plat, and this will be addressed.
Great, thank you.
I think that's all we needed to hear.
May I?
I'm sorry, can you
Mr.
state your
Chairman?
name? Mr. Samari, can you state your name and address and your connection with this?
My name is Andrew Samari, and the address is 2115 Northwest Broad Street. I'm representing Huddleston Steel Engineering, the firm that has designed the preliminary plat.
Thank you. All right.
Mr.
Was there
Chairman,
another
may I ask, where these lots are located, am I wrong, or aren't these located in the glide path of the airport?
You kind of broke up, Mr. Crabtree. Can you say that one more time?
He wanted to know if they were in the flyway of the airport, I think.
Are they in the glide path or the landing path of the airport?
No, they're not.
And the reason I ask is because we rejected several attempts to try and locate housing in anywhere that's close to the airport's runways or glide paths several years ago. And if we're going to turn around and reverse that now, that's going to create some possible issues for us. So I'm concerned about that very much. Have you even contacted the airport authority?
But Mr. Crabtree, this is a private airport park. It's one that, if I'm correct, that the neighboring, it's a neighbors, the neighbor association next door has a taxiway. It doesn't affect our city air park.
Well, and I'll also share with you, if you'll look at the zoning map that I provided, you can see there are some dark purple lines that indicate the overlay zones. And this property is outside of one of those overlays. It has the number 5 in the middle of it, and it has a sort of a triangular path.
And I would like to note that if this was a concern, then we should have concerns with Lot 6, Lot 5, and Lot 4 on Crosswind Court, which is closer to the airport than our proposed subdivision.
Yeah, on the zoning map, it's labeled as runway protection zones, and you can see those on the map.
I don't see any argument with this. They haven't made in the shade, because according to our current comprehensive plan, we could have residential all around our airport and not industrial or commercial. Doesn't make sense to me, but that's how we got it. So,
any other comments?
Kind of going off what Shelley was going on is this is like a mile and a half out of town. and we're requiring the builder to put sidewalks in. Does the city have any plans on extending any kind of multi-mode transportation out that far?
Yep. Where were they going and why? This is, to
It seems
me,
like-
it's just wherever, just random. Gotcha.
It
Do
seems
you
like
know
putting
we have
undue
plans for our
expense.
greenway system out in this area? But as far as sidewalks all along Old Shelbyville Highway, I think it would be a very long time before this would make a logical connection.
I mean, I think that the city should consider, if they're going to require the builders to put the sidewalks out there in front of the houses and have the landowners maintain them, the city should at least propose a plan to connect that to the nearest sidewalk on Wilson Avenue.
Right. Possibly trans-site zoning. That would be good.
All right. Sounds like a good conversation for our plan, a special meeting. What is it called? Discussion.
Study session.
Inconsistency.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is it, can I ask, you're talking about it being quite a ways outside the city. Does that put it in the zone where we have that new subdivision level for spaces outside here, that the lots have to be bigger than the lots, say, inside the city?
This is located in the city limits.
This
I
is not
forget
in the
which
urban
zone.
growth boundary.
Huh?
I
Well,
don't think this is.
but we put in a new R designation, and it was an R, like an R1A or something. It was some kind of thing
Was
that
off of
required the lots be bigger.
Ledford New Road is where you were thinking of.
Yep.
The current zoning of this plan is R1.
This is not those bigger lots. This is just a strictly a subdivision,
It's not a PUD or a PDD. It's, yeah.
the R1. It doesn't have the oversized lots in it. All right.
But is it in an area where that should be applied is what I'm asking.
No, it's not. This.
It has not been
Not
studied.
yet. Should be.
Has not been
We'll
studied.
get to
So
that.
we adopted the R1A zoning district in definition, which allows for 2-acre minimum lot sizes, but we did not update our comprehensive plan or do a land use study to look at where to incorporate that zoning in our land use plan.
Or any regulations, sub-regs, zoning regs, or plans.
Well, if it's an R1 zone, it's got to be in our zoning regs somewhere. Otherwise, you have nothing.
We have zero recourse.
It is in our zoning ordinance by definition.
Have it if you.
All right, Mr. Crabtree.
We're
you're
here to
breaking up pretty
sit, to me, if he reads the regulations, which he does, then we have no, like, he's approved. And until we update anything, then this is the way it's gonna be. So,
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I serve on as liaison from the city board to the airport, and I've looked at the planning there for some time. I've looked at all the homes that have gone up along Old Shelbyville Highway there, and the homes that are existing there in Shandell Park. And this tract of land, these 9 homes that are being built there, seems a bit inconsistent with the development that has gone on to date there. I can find nothing in the plans that would be, it meets all the regulations. Just saying it's inconsistent with the current development there. I have some concern about that. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other comments or questions before we vote? If not, I'm going to call the question. All right. Ms. Smith, Oh, let me say, this is this motion for approval of the Rollins subdivision plat on Highway 130, and with all staff recommendations to be added to the existing plat. Ms. Smith?
Move to approve. I mean, yes.
Ms. Blackwell?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Comer?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Schwer?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Crabtree?
Yes.
Okay. Mayor Noes?
No.
Okay. I will vote yes. That 6-1, I think is right. So, all right. With that, do we have any other new business that needs to be in front of the Planning Commission? If not, I move to adjourn, and we are moving into the Board of Zoning and Appeals. I'm a sheet. Oh, it's sitting right here in front of me. I apologize. All right. So now we're opening up this. Let me read the comment. Due to the COVID-19 emergency, the Planning Commission will conduct and the BOZA business by electronic means rather than requiring us to gather in a quorum of members physically present in the same location because it's necessary to protect the health and safety and the welfare of Tennesseans. This meeting is in compliance of Governor's Executive Order number 60 and will remain in effect until 11:59 on October 28, 2020. So we only have one item on the agenda, but first we need to approve minutes. So I will entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes of our July 20th meeting, 2020.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion from Ms. Smith, and I think Mr. Crabtree was the second. All those in favor? Wait, never mind. Roll call. Okay. Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Blackwell?
Yes.
Mr. Comer?
Yes.
Mr. Crabtree?
Yes.
Mr. Schwer?
Yes.
Mayor Noes?
Yes.
And I am a yes as well. 7-0. All right. And now if you will look at the minutes of August 17th, 2020, and once everyone has looked over those, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to
Move to
approve.
All right. We got everybody. So
Okay.
I will
Second.
give.
I think everybody's hungry. Probably.
There we go.
Everybody ready for some dinner?
I heard Miss Smith again, and then I think I heard Mr. Crabtree second. All right, we'll go through this quick. Miss Smith?
Yes.
Miss Blackwell?
Yes.
Mr. Noes? Mr. Comer?
Yeah.
Mr. Crabtree?
Yes.
Mr. Schwer?
Yes.
And Mayor Noes?
Yes.
And I'm yes, 7-0. All right, here we are. We have one unfinished business here. This is conditional use permit 205. It's a request for the use upon review for a home occupancy business for Kingdom Cuts Hair Studio. It is proposed use would occur in a ground level basement with a separate entrance on 201 West Side Drive. The applicant is Miss Diane Smotherman. And Miss Moody, do you have anything that you need to add?
I will just add that most home occupancies are approved administratively, but our ordinance does require that for hair salons and barber shops, they seek a conditional use permit. The way Miss Smotherman has described her business operations to me, I did not find any reason to believe that there would be any adverse impact on her neighbors or the neighborhood. And her property is actually very well suited to allowing one customer or more in her driveway. Her hair salon is located in her basement, which has its own side entrance to the home. So all of those things, I think, make it a very good fit at this location.
Thank you. All right. I guess I will entertain a motion. Or wait, let me have Miss Smotherman. If you'd like to, do you have any comments that you'd like to make before we entertain a motion?
No, sir. Well, other than I work on one person at a time. I usually have one car, at the most two, because one might be leaving or one get there early. But other than that, it's just me alone, and it's a small shop. But I would really like to work in it in my home if possible, because it saves me a lot of money. I mean, that's main reason. But I live on a corner lot, and I have a driveway that's suitable, and I don't have any problem with any neighbors or anything like that I would know of.
Thank you, Ms. Smotherman.
Thank you.
With that, would I like to entertain a motion?
Move to approve.
Approve.
Second.
I think I heard
A race.
it was a race, but I think it was Blackwell was first, and then I think the second was Mr. Nellis. So we have open any discussion amongst the.
Yes, I will say one thing is that I commend you, Mrs. Smotherman, for your business and every small business, and I think it's great what you're doing. I don't see any issues with this. I think we all need to support our local small businesses right now. And if you need any help with website or marketing, then you feel free to reach out to Motlow State. We are your partner, very local community college, and we are providing free websites and marketing right now. So I think it's, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Crabtree?
I'd like to ask. I'm going to assume that this home is connected to sewer. In the basement where you're going to do this, do you have sinks and adequate drainage?
Yes, sir.
Do we know for sure?
That will all
Very
be
good.
managed
That's
through the state because you get a state license, correct, Ms. Smotherman?
Yes.
And
Yes,
that's
sir.
all.
I have to be inspected by the Board of Barber Examiners. And
Exactly.
they came in and inspected my shop, and I got 100. I was proud of that. But
All right.
yes, sir, I do have a drain, and the washer and dryer was in the basement, and we moved them upstairs. My house is a house that you would pull in and go upstairs to the house, but the basement is full. You know, it's closed in and everything. So the washer and dryer was downstairs, of which we moved upstairs, and we used that drain for the shop. So we have it. The drain and all is really good.
The
Very
state
good.
will regulate all that. I have
Yeah.
one final comment. Can you help me a little bit?
Yes.
I have pandemic care, so can you?
On that one, I'm going to call the question. So here we go. Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Ms. Blackwell.
Yes.
Mr. Comer.
Yes.
Mr. Crabtree.
Yes.
Mr. Schwer.
Yes.
Mayor Noes.
Yes.
And I'm as yes as well. That's 7-0. Passed. Thank you, Ms. Smotherman. We appreciate that. Any other new business?
No.
All right. Then I will move to adjourn us. Thank you for everybody participating today. Y'all have a great week.
Thank you all.
Thank you.